In 1925, a book entitled The Great Pacific War appeared on bookshelves. It was a novel that depicted a war between the United States and Japan, which was to have occurred in 1931. Due to economic and domestic pressures, Japan perpetrates a sneak attack on the United States, causing significant damage to the American Pacific Fleet. The United States responds with all of her industrial might, and after a long and bloody war, brings Japan to her knees. The author was Hector Bywater, a British naval historian, journalist, and diplomat. He was already known for a book published in 1921 called Sea Power in the Pacific, where he argued that the rising power in Asia, Japan, would use her power to seize islands in the South Seas and create a new empire. He also suggested that Japan would most likely attack the United States if threatened, rather than wait for further American expansion in Asia. This was a revolutionary idea, as Japan had always seen itself ambushing and invading U.S. fleet. Sea Power in the Pacific became required reading in the Japanese Imperial Naval Academy and was closely read by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who was intrigued enough to write an article called "Shall We Trust Japan?" Roosevelt argued that there would be no war between the United States and Japan because the Pacific was too large a buffer. Bywater would refute Roosevelt with the Great Pacific War. Using meticulous research, he argued that a Japanese surprise attack on Guam and the Philippines was logical. He suggested the use of torpedo airplanes and the ultimate resort to kamikaze pilots. The book created a sensation in Japan and spawned a number of poor imitations where Japan, ultimately, wins the war. The Great Pacific War was avidly read by a young Japanese naval attaché in Washington, D.C. His name was Ishiro Yamamoto. In 1928, he returned to Japan and delivered a talk where he outlined a scenario where the Japanese Navy would use aircraft to attack the American fleet in Hawaii. It would be a preemptive strike, which would be necessary to protect the new perimeter of the empire in the South Seas. Yamamoto would incorporate many of Bywater's ideas in the attack on Pearl Harbor and in the Battle of Midway.